Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Sarah. In this week's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 ways that you can prepare yourself for your C-section. First thing that I wanted to talk about is communication. It is so important to talk to your doctor. Your doctor is your biggest asset because if everything goes according to plan, your doctor or your OB-GYN is going to be the one performing the C-section. This is something that I really want to stress because I did not find out that I was going to be having a C-section until 36 weeks. And up until that point, I had done zero research on C-sections because I was convinced I wasn't going to have one. So what was really important for me to know ahead of time was the timeline. Day of. My number one fear, besides the epidural that everybody's afraid of, was going into the operating room without my husband. I wanted to know exactly how long I was going to be in there without my husband, just to kind of mentally prepare myself. Second thing I wanted to talk to you about is breastfeeding. If you're not planning on breastfeeding, you know you don't want to, then just skip over this part. But for me, because initially I thought I was going to have a natural birth and everything would be rainbows and unicorns, I wanted to breastfeed. And I had heard a lot of rumors about like, oh, when you have a C-section, it takes longer for your breast milk to come in. And in my particular case, I don't think that it took longer for my breast milk to come in. And also, because I wanted to breastfeed and this was super important to me, I talk about this a little bit more in my birth story video. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, I will link that down below, so check that out as well. I talked to my doctor about breastfeeding. I said, when will I be able to try to breastfeed? When will I be able to do skin to skin? And she was very open to the fact of me actually getting to try in the operating room, which I guess unfortunately for a lot of people is unheard of. But she did say that she feels that nowadays, doctors are becoming more open to doing this because they do see the benefits for the mom and for the baby, obviously. So talk to your doctor about it. And then day of, when you meet with your OB-GYN before you go in, make sure you tell them again that it's important to you, if everything goes well in surgery, that you be able to have skin to skin, that you be able to try to nurse before you are taken into the recovery room. So the third thing that I want to talk to you guys about is pain. How painful is it? How do you describe the pain? How bad is the epidural? All these things. I am a huge weenie. I have very low pain tolerance. I was super terrified of the pain. This was like all consuming. I will say, for me personally, getting the IV put in my hand was the worst part. The epidural felt like a pinch. It was over in a second. I was very lucky it wasn't that bad. During the C-section, obviously I did not feel anything. There was some like tugging when they were sewing me back up, or I think even when they were pulling Sophie out. That was odd, but it did not hurt. When I went into the recovery area, I was in pain. I was super loopy from the drugs. I was shaky. I got a little bit itchy. But again, I had done research beforehand and I knew that that was semi-normal, and that if I did get itchy, to tell the nurse or whoever was taking care of me. And then she added some kind of medicine to help with the itching. Now, the worst part ever in the history of ever this whole thing is when you have to get up for the first time. I don't know if I should be telling you guys this, but it sucks. It's bad. You will probably cry. It will probably take you 30 minutes to walk 8 steps to go to the bathroom for the first time. You gotta do it, or they're not gonna let you leave the hospital. So that was awful. Thankfully, I had my husband to lean on. Pretty sure I cried and screamed, and I'm surprised I did not traumatize him. The first 1 to 2 weeks, just depending on you and how fast you heal, are gonna suck real bad. But after 3 weeks, I felt almost completely back to normal. The worst thing for me pain-wise when I got back home was just everything seemed so low to the ground to me. My couch was super low to the ground. The toilet was super low to the ground. The bed was low to the ground. Everything, you know, your ab muscles have been cut through. You can't really rely on those to sit down and get up. So really, the sitting and the standing was terrible. I really took their advice, and I did not lift anything heavier than the baby, and I did not walk up the stairs or do anything unnecessary that I didn't have to do. So this brings me to number 4, and that is the bleeding. So I naively thought that since the baby is essentially cut out of you, that there really wouldn't be anything going on down there. But that's a lie, because you have blood and little bits and bobs that come out of there, and you have to kind of wear that diaper just like if you have a normal birth. And I just wasn't expecting that, so I feel like it's definitely worth saying. And then also talking about pain, something that I wasn't really thinking about was like showering. Showering for the first time was very strange because, you know, you have this wound that's still kind of numb, but like I did not feel comfortable washing down there. So just so you know, you may need some help in the hygiene department at the beginning because everything is just different and it's swollen and there's no shame in asking for help. Fifth thing that I wanted to tell you guys about is something that I feel like not a lot of people talk about, and that's the guilt. For me, I don't know why, I felt really guilty about having a C-section. Now granted, it wasn't my choice, although I did choose not to try to do a version to turn the baby beforehand. I just felt really guilty. I felt like I did not really give birth. I didn't have a birth experience. Now, if you're watching this after you've had a C-section, I would love to hear from you to see if this is normal. Nothing is really normal or not normal, but yeah, I felt really guilty and I felt really weird about it, and it took me a long time to kind of get over that. But I just remember this had to have been the first or second week that I was home with Sophie. I was watching a movie on TV and there was a labor scene, and I just started bawling hysterically because I was like, I didn't get to have that experience. It's so not fair. My baby was cut out of me and it's not natural. I don't know, guys, the drugs, man, and the hormones, they do something to your mind. So just know that, listen, I've been through it and I got through it and I got over it eventually. But yeah, I think there is some guilt when your whole life has been told that there is essentially one normal way to give birth to a baby and it doesn't work out like that for you. There can be some guilt. So just know that you're not alone, and you know, if that guilt turns into something else more postpartum related, definitely talk to your doctor about it. If you're still feeling that way at your 6-week appointment, just verbalize to your doctor, make sure there's not anything else going on. So that's it for my video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. And if you haven't yet, please hit subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll be doing lots more of these types of videos in the future. Look forward to hearing back from all of you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.